Hello. Well, today we are going to work online and we will be giving our lesson through internet, as I said in our last lesson, in our last face-to-face lesson. We are going to see writing. We are going to deal with essays for first certificate. So if you are training for first certificate and you are watching this video, perhaps you find this information relevant or at least useful for you. Well, this is especially for my students training for first certificate. So let's start with our lesson. First of all, I said that we are going to deal with essays. But what are essays? What does that mean? Essays are brief, non-fiction compositions that describe, clarify, argue, or analyze a subject. So they are basically formal pieces of writing. Formal. We can associate the essay writing with academic writing. So this is the beginning of the academic writing. Essays. There are different types of essays. We are going to see just one type of essay today. Let me show you something. Let me show you something here. Have a look at this. There are different types of essays. We have the for and against essays. That's the one that we are dealing today. We are dealing with for and against essays today, but we will also be learning something about opinion essays, providing solutions to problems essays, and discursive essays. So let's focus our attention on the first one. Here. So, for and against essays. The for and against essays can also be called advantages and disadvantages essays. They are those pieces of writing which deal with specific ideas, and we think of those topics from different perspectives. We see the topic itself from different perspectives, the positive and the negative perspective. So in this particular case, the instruction of the exercise says, look at the pictures and think of as many advantages and disadvantages of living in the country as possible. So, advantages and disadvantages of living in the country. Can you think of some advantages? We have a little bit of help here. There are some tips. There are some suggestions. It says which of these points are the advantages and which are the disadvantages of living in the country. Well, we have the countryside here, and if we think of advantages and disadvantages, perhaps a disadvantage is that in the country you might not have shops nearby. No hospitals, perhaps. Maybe you are far away from friends. Maybe because perhaps you have lots of friends there in the area. You might have long car journeys to school or to the office. But there are some good points. Perhaps when you live in the country, you are surrounded by a healthy environment. Perhaps if you have children, you have a safe place to bring them up. I actually don't know about the house prices there. Perhaps we might say we have lower house prices, but I'm not sure about it, to be honest. And basically no noise from traffic. So those are certainly advantages of living in the country. But if we continue a little bit, here we have the theory of how to write the essay. In this particular case, we are dealing with for and against essays. One type of argumentative essay is that which gives advantages and disadvantages. It is a formal piece of writing in which a topic is considered from opposing points of view. That is important. You have to see the subject, the topic from different perspectives, opposing perspectives. A good essay of this type should consist of an introductory paragraph, a main body, and a closing paragraph. Here we can see that more clearly. We have paragraph 1. In that paragraph, you introduce the topic, you state the topic, and you might give a summary of the topic, but be careful because that is not the paragraph where you have to state your opinion. Actually, you may state your opinion in the final paragraph. So no opinion at first. And remember, it's not obligatory to express what you think, to express what you believe. You may do it, but if you do it in the final paragraph. So no opinion at first, no personal opinion. So the paragraph 1 is the objective introduction to the topic. If we focus our attention on this written theory, we may see that the introductory paragraph in which you state the topic means that there, on that paragraph, you talk generally about the topic, and it says very clearly, without giving your opinion. In the main body, perhaps you have 2 paragraphs, 2 or 3 paragraphs. The main body is the place where you will write the points for and the points against the topic. And apart from those perspectives, you expand your idea. You express them along with your justification. Better if you put the ideas or those perspectives with the corresponding justifications in 2 different paragraphs. Then we have a closing paragraph in which you give either your opinion, you may give your opinion, it's not obligatory, or you simply express a balanced consideration of the topic. In this type of essay writing, you must not include opinion words. What does it mean? You cannot write I believe, I think, I consider, I suppose. But you don't do that in the introduction or the main body. So don't write that here and don't write that here. You may write that here. That's important. Opinion words can only only be used in the final paragraph where you may state your opinion on the topic. You may. Something which is probably important for you to bear in mind is that it's always good if you make a list of the points for and against the topic before you start writing. I mean, the planning of your essay is crucial. You have to have your ideas in writing. You have to be able to see them. You cannot start writing just out of the blue. When you make the list of points for and against the topic, try to have a balance. If you write 3 good points, 3 points in favor of the topic, well, try to write 3 points against the topic. So the opposing perspectives have to be in balance. Write well-developed paragraphs in which the points you present are supported with justification. That means write the reasons why you express a certain idea. Make sure each paragraph has more than one sentence, of course. For example, let's read along. One advantage of using a word processor is that it saves time. That is the principal sentence, and that is the idea. But then you have the justification. So the advantage is that it saves time because it is much quicker to make corrections on one than it is to do them by hand. So that's the justification, the reason why you think it saves time. So you have to explain why you think what you express in the first sentence. Do not use informal style. Do not use informal style. When I say informal styles, remember I'm talking about short forms or colloquial language. Try to avoid the strong language such as I firmly believed, etc., etc. I strongly believe, etc. Try to include a quotation relevant to the topic you are writing about. For example, if you are writing an essay on space exploration, a quotation is a phrase that was expressed by somebody very famous at a certain time in the past, or maybe the present. So there are special quotations. For example, the famous "to be or not to be" written by Shakespeare when he wrote Hamlet. Well, let's continue. There was a kind of interruption there. Let's continue. Then what else? Okay, we were talking about Shakespeare, weren't we? Yes. To be or not to be, that is a famous quotation. Another famous quotation, Neil Armstrong, the famous astronaut, one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. When the man arrived at the moon, that was the trip to the moon in 1969. So it is a famous quotation. Sometimes you will be able to think of a famous quotation, and sometimes you won't. But consider that it could be interesting to be able to use one. Another thing which is important to consider is that you have to begin each paragraph with a topic sentence. A topic sentence is the principal sentence for that paragraph. For example, one advantage of using a word processor is that it saves time. That is the topic sentence, and then you expand on that. So begin each paragraph with a topic sentence which summarizes what the paragraph is about. Then the rest of the sentences will be the supporting sentences to that topic sentence, the principal sentence for that paragraph. And you will begin the paragraph with that topic sentence. Another example. However, there are advantages to owning a house. Imagine that you are writing an essay about having the possibility of owning a house or not. So, topic sentence. However, there are disadvantages to owning a house. And the justification for that topic sentence is, firstly, it can be rather expensive and tiring to maintain. For example, repairs to the outside of the house can be costly, not to mention the time-consuming task of caring for a backyard or garden.
Yo le digo a Lisa, lo bien que habló de José y contó su historia, que ella había sido para el 6 años. Y bueno, empezaron a tocar y ella decía, no se puede defender, está pasando muy bien. La felicito por eso. Hablamos de intimidades